Welcome back to Namaste DSA, my dear friends. And now we are going to solve a problem, which is write a function which returns the count of digits in a number. So basically, given a number, suppose we have given a number 259, it should count the number of digits and return that number. Okay, so it should give the answer as 3, right? So how many digits this number have, it should return that number of digits. Got it? So this is the problem statement, and we have to solve it programmatically, right? So how do you programmatically solve this question? Now, this question will use while loop, right? So again, see, whenever there is a first of all, we'll see how we can actually solve it. We'll solve it on pen and paper, and then we will write code over here. Okay, and then first of all, we will have to make an algorithm to solve it, right? So let's solve it algorithmically. So suppose if my number is equals to 259 or any number as per se, how will you count the number of digits in it, right? So as a human, I can just look at it and see that okay, there are 3 digits, but then as a computer, you cannot do it, right? So how would you find that how many number of digits are there? This is a very simple mathematical problem, right? In mathematics, what you have to do is you have to count the number of digits. So basically, you might have seen how many digits are there. This is on the first digit, this is second digit, this is third digit. So how do you count it? So a very easy solution to this problem is I will divide this number by 10, right? So if I divide this number by 10, So if I will divide this number by 10, then what it will give me? It will give me 25, isn't it? It will give me 25 and some remainder. Remainder would be 9. I will again divide this number by 10. It will give me 2. I will again divide this number by 10. It will give me 0. Right? So how many times this number has been divisible by 10? It has been divisible by 3 times, right? 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. Got it? So this is how we can calculate kind of, right? So suppose if we have a number 5, 4, 5, maybe 7, 8, 6. You divide it by 10, it becomes 4, 5, 7, 8. You divide it by 10, it becomes 4, 5, 7. You divide it by 10 again, it becomes 45. You divide it by 10, it becomes 4. You divide it by 10, it becomes 0. How many times it has been divided? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 digits in this number. Do you understand this problem or not? And so what we can do is we'll try to write a loop in such a way so that we will keep on dividing our number by 10, and we will run this loop till where unless this number becomes 0, right? Unless we have 0 left with us. Got it? So that is the point we will keep on dividing this number for. Okay, so this is the basic logic of finding the number of digits in a number. Let's try to write some logic for it, right? Let's try to write some logic. Okay, let's write some code. First of all, what we will do is suppose we will again need a variable where we will count the numbers, right? It is kind of like a counter, and I would say it is 0 initially, right? Initially this counter is 0. Now what I will do is I will write a while loop, right? How do you write a while loop? While, and over here we write a condition. We will write this condition later on, but what we will have to do in this loop, right? Just think about it. What we will have to do in this loop? Sorry, I think I need to delete this page. Can I delete this page? Right? So now what we have to do is, what we have to do in loop. So what we have to do is this number I have to keep on dividing by 10, right? So this number, what I have to do is this number I will divide by 10. And I will keep on dividing this number by 10. And whenever I divide this number by 10, I will increase my counter. I will increase my count, right? I will do a count plus plus. I will divide by number. So what will happen is this while loop will run. It will divide the number. It will increase the count. Then it will run again. It will divide the number, increase the count, then it will run again. It will divide the number, increase the count, then it will run again, right? How will it work, right? This while loop will work. It will divide the number, increase the count, loop will run again. Divide the number, increase the count, run again. Divide the number, increase the count, run again. And till where do I need to run this code, right? At how many times do I need to divide this? When will this loop end? You know the answer. The loop will end when the actual number becomes 0, right? This loop will only run if my n is greater than 0. If we keep on dividing this number, let's take an example, right? So suppose if I have a number 259, right? So I will divide by 10, it will become 25. Then I will divide by 10, it will become 2. Then I will divide by 10, it will become 0. So till my number is greater than 0, this loop will run. Okay? Did you understand that? It's a very easy thing. There is nothing more which I can explain over here. It's a very easy thing. N is greater than 0. Till my n is greater than 0, keep on dividing it, keep on increasing the count, keep on dividing it, keep on increasing the count, and at the end, whatever the count will be present, just return that count. And this count will contain the final value of that number. Let's dry run it. Can I dry run it? Let's take n is equals to 259. Right? Let's take n is equals to 259. Now my value of n, right, is 259, and my value of count is 0. Now what happens when you run the loop? Now my value of n becomes what? In the first iteration, my value of n becomes n is equals to n by 10. It becomes 25. And my count becomes 1, right? My count becomes 1. My loop runs again. This time again, I divide it by 10. It becomes 2. And my count becomes 2, right? Count plus plus. Now my value of n, if I divide it once, it becomes 0, and as soon as it value of 0, count n becomes 0, and my count becomes 3. Now as soon as this value becomes 0 over here, my loop will no longer run, and it will end, and I will return the value of count, which is 3 over here. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense to you or not? Right? Does it make sense to you or not? Let me dry run it once again, and this time let's take a bigger number. Let's take a number 6. Let's take a big number, right? Let's say 6, 8, 0, 1, 2, 5. Okay, this is a very big number, right? And now this is my n, right? Let's say my n is 6, 8, 0, 1, 2, 5, and my count over here is 0. Now I will divide this number by 10. What will this number become? 6, 8, 0, 1, 2, and my count will become 1, right? My loop will run over here. This number will be divided, becomes this. My count will become this, and I will run my loop once again. It will check, is n greater than 0? Yes, this is greater than 0. So it will run again, right? When it will run again, my n becomes 6, 8, 0, 1, and my count becomes 2. Now again the while loop will check, is this n greater than 0? Yes, it is greater than 0. It will again go inside the loop, and it will divide 6, 8, 0, right? And now my count becomes 3. Now again it will check whether this n is greater than 0, this 680 is greater than 0. Yes, it is greater than 0. Then it will again run the loop. Now my n becomes 6, 8, right? And then my counter becomes 4. Now again what will happen is, it will check, is 68 greater than 0? Yes, it is greater than 0. So 68 will be divided by 10, it becomes 6, and count becomes 5, right? Let me write it down. My 6 and my count becomes 5. And then I will again check, is 6 greater than 0? Yes, it is greater than 0. So now again it will divide, n will be divided. Now it becomes 0, right? Now it becomes 0. N is equals to n divided by 10, it becomes 0. And what happens is, my count becomes 6. My count becomes 6. Now when my count is 6, now it will again check, and this time what happens is, this condition fails, and it will not go inside this loop, and it will return the value of count, that is 6. If you count the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 6 will be the answer, right? So this is how you write this code. This is the pseudo code over here. So can we write the same code in our program or playground? Let's write this code in our playground. Very, very easy. I will add count is equals to 0, because this will maintain the counter. Now I will run this loop while my n is greater than 0. Okay, till my n is greater than 0, keep running this loop, keep running this loop. Now what I'll do is, now I'll do n is equals to n divided by 10, right? I will do n is equals to n divided by 10. So I will keep dividing my number by 10, and I will keep increasing my count every time my number divides. And then I will just return my count from here. Now you will see that this is what the code is. It should work. But there are few things. This will not return correct result. This will not return correct result as of now. Why? Let me tell you that in JavaScript, whenever you are dividing this value, so suppose if your number is 259 and you divide by 10, so what will happen? It will give you 25.9. I want that value to be absolute. I don't want that value to be, I don't want that value to be in decimals. I want this value to be in integer. Got it? So I want that value to be in integer. So how can we maintain this as integer? Whatever the result is after division, right? You just have to do a math.floor. Math.floor. Okay, so I'll tell you what that math.floor is, right? Math.floor of n by 10, right? Let me just tell you. Okay, let me open playground once again, right? Let me open the playground once again. This is our playground. Cool. So over here in this playground, if I do math.floor of 10, so it will give me, okay, so let me do a console.log also. Console.log and math.floor, okay? If I do a console.log, it gives me 10. But if I do a math.floor of 10.5, it gives me 10. If I do a math.floor of 10.1, it will give me 10. If I do a math.floor or floor of 10 point something something, it will give me 10. So math.floor rounds down the value, right? Rounds down the value. Even if you have 10.9, it will give me 10. So basically floor means you are decreasing. You basically are truncating this value. It kind of like ignores the right hand side. If you do a, if you do a math.round, this will round off, right? So if you do 10.1, it will give me 10. If you do a 10.5, it will make it 11, right? Basically you round off, right? If it is greater than 0.5 or 0.5, it will make it a number above, right? So 10.5. So these are methods inside JavaScript. So math.round, if you do math 10.7, it will make it 11. If you do a 10.3, it will make it 10, right? So basically math.round, if it is 0.5 and above, it will change it to +1. Otherwise, it will stay the same number. Math.floor will always make it the lower value, right? Make it the lower value no matter if it is 10.9. And there is one more function which is math.seal. Math.seal. So the seal function always increases it, right? Always round up, right? It always rounds up, right? So basically it becomes 10.9, becomes 11. Even if you do 10.1, it still makes it 11. If you do even do 10.001, it will still make it 11, right? So there are three functions: math.seal, math.round, math.floor. So over here we want to use math.floor. Okay, so over here, see, n by 10, when you divide it, so it will basically become 68012.5, right? So I want to ignore this 0.5, right? I want to ignore this 0.5. That is why I have to write math.floor. If you will not write math.floor, your answer will not work, right? So now let us just see that how the result is, right? Let me just do a console log of result and you will see the answer 3 over here. 259, the answer is 3. Let us make this bigger, right? If I make this, it gives me 9. So does it have 9 digits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is perfectly fine. Our code is working perfectly fine. So this is how you count digits in a number. Now, I would request you all, please pause the video over here, try to solve it till here, and then later on watch this video, because I am going to improve my solution now, right? So pause this video, do this solution, try to do it on paper first of all. You should be able to write this pseudocode yourself, then write it over here in terminal. You should always make this table and see how the n count are working, right? You should always make this table and see how this n count are working. Got it? So this will help you a lot. Now, what I want, my dear friends, is to please go through this, right? Go through this explanation, solve it for yourself, and then watch this video ahead. Now, let me tell you, there are few improvements that we can do. As I told you about corner cases, right? I told you about corner cases, right? So I have few more corner cases that we can have over here. One corner case is, what if my n over here, right? What if my n over here is 0? What if my n over here is 0? How many digits 0 has? How many digits 0 has? Tell me. How many digits 0 has? Now, you should ask this question to your interviewer, that how many digits, suppose if the n is 0, how many digits should I consider? If n is 1, then there is definitely 1 digit. But if n is 0, how many digits is there? So generally, I would say that if n is 0, then the number of digits should also be 1, right? But is your solution correct? What if my number is 0? So the answer comes 0 over here, which is not valid. 0 is also 1 digit, right? If you, I don't know, this is debatable, you can do an argument with me. But ideally, these are the corner cases that we need to handle as a programmer. Because the interviewer can say, okay, interviewer can argue with you, 0 is also a number, right? It is 1 digit. You cannot say that 0 is not a digit. It's a digit, right? So if it is 0, then you have to handle this case also. Because why it is giving you 0? Because count is 0, n greater than 0. So this loop never runs. And then it just returns count directly. So this is a very corner case that we need to handle. So what we can do, I can just write this case to handle, right? Write a if-else condition to handle this. If my n is equal to 0, if my n is equal to 0, then just return 1, right? This is a very corner case, right? So if you give 0, it will return 1. If you give it 1, it will return 1. If you give it 9, it will again return 1. If you give it 97, it will give return 2. If you give it 975, it will give 3. So any number of digits, it will return number of digits, right? This is one corner case that we need to handle for the case 0. Can you think about more corner cases? Can you think about more corner cases, my dear friends? There is one more corner case that we have, and that corner case is negative numbers. What if my number is minus 298? It is giving me 0. Why it's giving me 0? It should have ideally given me 3 digits, isn't it? It also has 3 digits, right? Why it is giving me 0? Just think about it. Take a moment, take a pause, think about it. I know the solution, think about it. This is giving 0 because I am checking the first condition in the loop is n should be greater than 0. N should be greater than 0, but n over here is minus 298. So it is not greater than 0. So it will not go inside the loop and it will return the count. So what we can do is, to handle this case, a very easy thing that we can do is, before even going inside the loop, I can just change my number to math.absn, right? So what does it means? It will change my negative number to positive number. It is math.absolute. It changes all my negative number to positive number. If it's a positive number, it changes it to positive. It keeps it positive, right? Let me go back to playground, right? Let me go back to playground over here. Okay, let me go back to playground. If you will do something like this, right? Let me just show you what does math.abs do. Math.abs, and if you do a absolute of 20, it will give you 20. If you do it of minus 20, it will still give you 20. So basically, it makes the number positive. Okay, it is absolute. Okay, so if you do minus 120 or 420, it will give you 420. Okay, so it will remove the negative sign from the number. It's a very handy method. You should remember this. I have told you 4 methods today: math.abs, math.round, math.floor, math.seal. Take it down as a note in your notebook and remember it. What these methods do, and we will use this more often, right? We will keep using it. So what we have to do is, I will just, whenever, suppose if I get a negative number, change it to positive before doing that, and then the problem repeats, same, right? So basically, why am I writing this? Change this number to positive. Or let me write a comment. Handling negative numbers, right? Basically, I'm converting these negative numbers to positive, or I can say converting negative numbers to positive. Converting negative numbers to positive. Got it? So this is what it is doing, and handling this 0 case. Okay, so this is the 0 case if the number is 0. Can you think of more corner case? I cannot think of any other corner case as of now, but As a programmer, what I'm trying to say is whenever it comes to data structures and algorithm, write your solution. See, we wrote this solution already and it was working fine for our test case. But once you have written this solution, always make sure to think about corner cases. Suppose if you are given an array, think about what will happen if the array has negative numbers. What will happen if the array has duplicates? What will happen if the array does not have anything? It's an empty array, right? When it comes to numbers, think about what will happen if it is a negative number? What will happen if it is a zero? What will happen if it is a number, bigger number, right? So think about these corner cases and that will help you make a better developer. So that was it, my dear friends. Hope you would have understood this solution. Did you understand this solution or not? Let me know on social media. I would request you all, please, my dear friends, share all your knowledge that you are learning on social media. Give us a shout out on social media if you're liking this series, if you're liking these tutorials, give it a shout out and help us reach more and more people. Every post matters. Don't think that okay, so many people are already writing. I want to read your post. I want to, when somebody writes good about us on social media, it motivates me. I put my heart and soul into building all these tutorials. And if you can do a small favor for me, please write a little bit about this tutorials or about me or about my teaching style, about Namaste DSA, about our courses on social media. That would mean a lot to us. That will make me happy, right? It makes me very happy when I read those posts. And thank you so much for people who have already shared on social media. Keep sharing it. And I would suggest you, why not just, whatever knowledge you have gathered, share it on social media. Maintain a GitHub repo with all your solutions, right? Keep taking down notes. You can post your notes also on social media to help other people on your network, right? So keep learning, keep doing this. And thank you so much for watching these videos. In the next videos, we will cover more questions around numbers, around arrays. We will do a lot more amazing things. We have just started. And I will make you fall in love with programming. I will make you fall in love with data structures, and data structures will be a piece of cake for you, and you will never fail in an interview. I will teach you in the easiest possible way. Okay. Hope you have understood this solution. If you have understood this solution, then please share about us on social media. That's all I want. Thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you in the next video very soon. Bye-bye. Namaste.